You guys, this is our last lesson of Algebra 2. And this is not how I thought I would be teaching our last lesson of Algebra 2. But I just want to say you guys have been awesome. Like when we were in the classroom, awesome. When we were doing things online, awesome. You have been wonderful, especially for my first time teaching this stuff. I just so appreciate your grace and your patience and how wonderful you have been. So, last lesson, and it's a super quick one. Normally we do this with 12-3B, but we thought we'll spread it out a little and give you a little extra time since this is just not normal these days. So I'm going to teach you this. You do need your graphing calculator in front of you, so if you don't have it, pause me real quick and go get it. But this is going to be 12-4B, and we are going to solve 3x3 matrices on the calculator. Okay, so here we go. This is going to look just like the 2x2, but now it's a 3x3, and now you get to do it on the calculator, which you did not get to do before. So the calculator is going to do all the work for you, which is fantastic. We didn't teach you this before because we want you to learn it by hand, but your calculator can do all kinds of fun things. Okay, so this is matrix A, and we are going to multiply by x and set it equal to our B matrix, which is 6, -11, and 8. Okay, now this should look familiar. Remember, when we solve this, we still want to multiply by the inverse. So it's still going to be just like before, x equals the inverse of A times B is how we're going to solve this. Remember, there is not division with matrices, so we multiply by the inverse to get A out of the left side and move it to the right side. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. It's the same 2 ways that I showed you in the last lesson. The alpha zoom is definitely the quicker, easier way, but just in case those of you, I think you all have it, but just in case, I'm going to show you both ways. So for this first one, I'll show you the old way, and for the second one, I'll show you the quicker, easier way, okay? So on your calculator, you are going to store your matrices. So remember, this is where you go your second key and then the x to the -1, right? That says matrix above it. Okay, so you're going to go second, x to the -1, and then go over to edit, and on A, hit enter. And then that first one, this A, is a 3x3. So you're going to type in 3, enter, 3, enter. And now you'll put in all your numbers. 0, enter, 2, 1, 3, -2, 1, -2, and 1. Okay, then go second quit, or second mode, which will quit out of there. Okay, then you're going to go second x to the -1 again to put your B in. Okay, so we're going to go here again, arrow over to edit, go down to B, and notice B is a 3x1, not a 1x3, right? Rows first, columns second. So enter 3x1, and then you put in the numbers 6, enter, -11, enter, 8, enter. And then quit out of that again. So second quit, okay? And now what we're trying to do is the inverse of A times B. So you're gonna go second matrix, that's this again. So you do this a 3rd time, okay? And then we are going to do in names, we want matrix A, so hit enter on number 1 there. And so right now on your calculator screen, you should see this. Okay, then we want to take the inverse of that. So you're going to hit the this button, x to the -1, so that it looks like this in your calculator. So to the negative first, that's your inverse. And then you're going to go, for the 4th and final time, second matrix. So second x to the negative 1. And now go down to b, number 2, or you can just hit the number 2 on your calculator and enter. And now your calculator should look like this. Okay, and if you hit enter one more time, you get for your answer 1, -2, 3. Okay, and that's your answer. And that's the like long drawn out version of how you would do this. I'm going to show you on our second example the quicker way to do it, the easier way, I would say. And I think you all have the calculator that will do it the easier way. So let's say we're working with a system again. Okay, back to systems. If I have x minus 3y plus 3z equals -4, and then I have 2x plus 3y minus z equals 15, and then I have 4x minus 3y minus z equals 19. Okay. One thing to note, if ever there's just a variable not there, like say this was completely gone, the x, you would put a 0 in there. Okay, if there was no variable there at all, plug a 0 into your matrix in your calculator. But right now, that number, the coefficient, is actually a 1, right? So there's a 1 here, there's a 1 here, there's a 1 there. So it's 1 and -1 and -1. So we're going to set up the problem with our matrices. Remember, we start with the coefficient matrix. So this one's going to be 1, -3, and 3. And then 2, 3, -1, and then 4, -3, -1. Okay, remember that's our coefficient matrix, that's our A. Then we do our variable matrix, and in this one we have x, y, and z that we're working with. And we set that equal to our constant matrix, which is -4, 15, and 19. Okay, so this is our x, and this is our b. Okay, now remember, in solving this, we get that x, in this case x, y, and z, is equal to the inverse of a times b. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to plug this into our calculator the quick way, the easier way. If you want to plug it in the old way, you go for it right now. I'm going to show you the quick way. So you are on your calculator, going to hit alpha, that's the green button, and then zoom. Okay, and then when you do that, it should be highlighting matrix already, right? It says MTRX at the bottom. We are doing the inverse of A, and A is a 3 by 3, so make sure you go to 3, and then arrow down, enter at 3 again, and then go to OK and hit enter, and it will give you a 3 by 3 on your calculator screen, and you're going to put in 1, and then arrow over, -3, arrow over 3, arrow over again, 2, arrow over, 3, arrow over, -1. Put all those numbers in, 4, -3, -1. Okay, now on my screen right now is this matrix. We are taking the inverse of that. So now you're going to hit the inverse button, the x to the -1. Okay, hit that button. And then now you can put in your matrix B. So go alpha zoom again, alpha zoom. And now this matrix B is a 3 by 1. So you're going to go 3, enter, down to 1, hit enter. So now it's a 3 by 1, and then hit OK. And you should see 0, 0, 0 vertically there. You're going to put in -4, arrow over, 15, arrow over, 19, arrow over, and then you just hit enter. And you should get, for your answer, 5, 1 and negative 2. Now remember, we're talking a system here. So that's an x, y, and z. So we would technically write it 5, 1, negative 2 as an x, y, and z all together. And that would be your answer. If you have any questions at all on the calculator, shoot me an email and we can try to Zoom where I can maybe show you on my calculator on a Zoom how this all goes. I'm happy to do that if you need some help with the calculator, but just shoot me an email and we'll set up a time if you need that, okay? That's it, guys. That's our last lesson. I'm a little bit sad. Hope you're all doing well. You kind of have a more chill week this week, nothing to do Friday except for correct this homework. And then next week we'll take a test and we'll spend a little bit of time just doing some review of the semester, and that's it. No final exam, just wrapping things up. So have a great day.